that none of those, are talking about money or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the premise of the book is laid out in the first chapter. Then in the second chapter, we start with the first rule, which is be one with life. And the minute you understand that you're one with life, you begin to become aware that you're one with the source of your good. It's really that simple. You're swimming in pure essence energy. That's life. And it's in the story at the beginning of the book, I tell a story about the fish in the ocean, learning to go beyond the barrier reef and the safety of their little lagoon. And very few do it because they're fearful of the great open sea.
Yeah.
And the message is that the ocean is the source of your abundance, but you have to be willing to explore it.
Yeah. And
the second rule, be aware you live in an expanding universe, is you have to learn how to personalize the fact that the universe is literally expanding at the speed of light. Do you know how fast that is?
Oh, can't imagine.
It's like 282 miles, 1,000 miles per second. And I'm guessing that's about correct. It's expanding at an incredible pace. The universe, and out of itself, it's continuing to make new substance called the universe, stars, planets, and it's the most amazing thing. So the principle of expansion is how the universe operates. And once you begin to realize you're one with life, the universe, if you will, you realize that same principle of expansion is working in you and through you, but only to the level that you recognize it and utilize it consciously.
Wow.
This is the reason a lot of people create an abundance of not enough. We can either create an abundance of more than enough or an abundance of not enough.
Oh,
because life is always responding to us with yes.
So people, I see what you mean. Abundance of not enough. That's the self-talk.
Yeah.
There's not enough. There'll never be enough.
Right. But
I'm
the
poor.
principle of abundance is still working according to your beliefs.
Right.
You get more, not enough.
You get more, not enough. My goodness. And the secret here is making it conscious, right?
Yes, that's the third law, yeah.
Right.
The third rule is be accountable for your consciousness. Understand that your beliefs create your reality. And if you believe in more than enough, you're going to find more than enough showing up for you. But if you believe in not enough, you're going to get more not enough showing up for you. The universe has no alternative but to give you more of what you believe that you get, that you deserve.
Right. What you believe is what you get. Yeah.
That's that, and then leads us to the fourth rule, which is be focused. Understanding that your point of focus, as we said before, you're an energy conductor. And the more focused you are, the more you direct the energy of your creative mind to focus on the principle of abundance, the principle of more than enough, rather than not enough. How many of us are staring at not enough?
Staring at not enough.
We're staring at what we don't have. We're glaring at what's missing in our lives rather than what we have.
Right. And suppose somebody is with someone that doesn't seem like enough to them. Now, they can either flip it around and say, this person really is enough for me, and let me act as if they are enough, and let me bring out the best in them. Or where is it that there's a recognition that this is not, necessarily the best person for them?
Yeah, that's a great question to ask. And I think that, and I know this is the relationship pro here, that oftentimes in relationships, one person will begin to grow and evolve and the other won't.
Yes.
And when that happens, you've got a problem. And because the one who's not growing gets threatened and insecure and starts grasping, and which only drives the one who's growing and evolving further away. So that's a great question. I think we just have to really continue to ask on a daily basis, in our relationships and in our careers and every other place? Am I living up to my highest potential? And all I have to do is look around and see who I'm surrounding myself with, both in my relationships, my friends, my careers, and you'll know whether you're living up to your potential or not.
Yeah, and I think it's all about the eyes of the beholder, right, Dennis?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And it starts in the mirror. When we begin to see ourselves as enough, which is, again, you have to transcend that belief in shame, or that feeling of shame that so many of us are raised in. I was raised in a shame-based home. I understand what it feels like to be given the message subliminally that you're not enough. And I had to learn through my own self-education that I was enough and that I am enough. And as I learned to embrace that truth and that idea, and going back to the principles that I teach and believe in, I became more confident that I was enough, which evolved into the actions of I'm enough, which drew to me relationships and people that felt the same way about themselves. There's nothing greater than drawing to you a person who believes they're enough.
Yes, and I'm thinking about the root of the word confidence, con, with, and FID, fidelity, truth, faithfulness, to have the faith within yourself, to keep the faith within yourself. You
like
have
that.
it. Yeah. Well, I love etymology. I find it so instructive.
Oh, words are wonderful. I'm a word hound. Yeah.
I know that's all of your wordsmithing with your chapter titles. That's why I read both of them in these last 2 weeks. Yes.
Listen, the fifth rule that I put in the book is about the law of circulation, be in the flow. That means that we have to understand that life, energy has to move. And in order for it to move, there has to be a giver and a receiver. And too many of us we're really good at receiving, but we're not so good at giving or letting go. So that chapter is dedicated to helping you understand the law of circulation, and that it's not an option. If you want to have an abundant life, a life of prosperous development in every area, you have to learn the law of circulation, which is to give as much as you take.
Yes, and that means you have to let go as well. Yeah.
Well, giving and letting go are the same thing, just as receiving and accepting are the same thing.
Right. So giving is letting go.
Right. Yeah. And the question is, are you letting go joyfully and happily and lovingly, or are you letting go fearfully?
Right.
And regretfully or resentfully? Because watch out, the universe is listening.
Right.
And if you let go or give begrudgingly, you're telling life that there's not enough. Right. And it can only come back around and whack you in the head with a demonstration or proof that there's not enough.
So the universe is listening, and it's always giving back what you put out there?
Yeah, it's all it can do. The universe knows one word, yes. It's constantly agreeing with what our deepest beliefs are.
Oh.
It doesn't judge, it doesn't discern as good or bad. It just says, yep, I agree.
I see. Wow.
The sixth rule is be passionate. Passion's a huge part of creating an abundant life. Without passion, your boat is dead on the water. It's kind of like you'd be a sailboat with no wind to move it.
Yeah.
So passion, you have to have passion. That's why the subtitle of that chapter is Love What You Do and Do What You Love. And too many people are doing what they don't love, and so the passion's missing. Whether it's in their relationships with whoever they're in a relationship with, or their career, they're doing it perfunctorily, but they don't love it.
Right. Oh, so much perfunctory work and perfunctory relationships.
Yeah, and that's why they're half dead.
Right, exactly. And that's they're living their lives on automatic pilot.
Exactly
by
right.
rote. Yes.
Yep.
And we have to arrive at all of these in the society as it exists right now. And so let's go on. Be blessed. Because we only have 3 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Be blessed is basically understand that you are blessed, and we talked about this before because you've been given the gift of life.
Right.
It's the greatest blessing you could possibly receive.
Right.
But like the law of circulation, then after you realize how blessed you are, you have to become a blessing to others.
Yes.
By understanding that the minute you begin to bless others, you're also blessing yourself. Because
Right.
what goes around comes around.
Right.
And by blessing, I don't think we have time to go into the details of that chapter, other than to understand that you're more blessed than you can possibly conceive of. All you got to do is begin to take stock of the gifts that have been given to you, like your teeth,
Yeah.
like your eyes, like your heart. Like the roof over your head. There's so many places that we take for granted that we're so blessed. So to understand we're blessed is to really understand the gifts that we already been given, and don't take them for granted.
Right.
That moves the principle of abundance into action in our lives.
So you're blessed with the people in your life, even those you didn't choose.
That's right.
Really?
That's
wow.
right. Yep. Yep. Blessing helps us master the power of a positive perspective. When you see your life as blessed, you begin to see through a positive perspective, and you realize that to be blessed and know you're blessed will enable you to then become an authentic blessing to others, which is in part why we're here. Which leads us to the 8th rule, which is be of service. If you want to manifest an abundant life, you have to serve others.
Right.
You have to extend yourself, the essence of who you are, in a way that makes their lives enriched.
Right. Good. Be courageous.
Be courageous. And there's the big one right there. In order for us to manifest a more prosperous life and abundant life, we have to be able to step outside of the comfort zone. This goes back to last week in talking about the art of uncertainty, about being willing to step out of your box, because you'll never create anything new from within the field of what you already know. It'll just be another version of what you already know. If you want to create something new, you have to step outside of the known into the unknown, and it takes courage to do that. And that's also how you initiate the flow of abundance in your life, by being willing to do something that expands your horizons.
Absolutely. And that in and of itself, being a catalyst for good, reminded of Harold Thurman's phrase, go, just do what you love, and that's what the world needs, is people who are doing what they love.
Yep.
Wow, we did it. We did it. Dennis Merritt Jones, thank you. And if you have been titillated by this book and by last week's The Art of Uncertainty, go out and purchase them and read them. Give yourself the pleasure and the time to luxuriate in these words by Dennis Merritt Jones. And there's lots of information on your website, DennisMerrittJones.com. So there we go.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much, and we have podcasts of this shows that you can tell your friends about. We are live streamed. Lots of good things. You can share this with others. Thank you so much, Dennis. And this is Dr. Duffy Spencer saying goodbye for now and wishing you great relationships.